Hey everyone, it's Neil Patel, and today I'm going to teach you how to start selling 20% more online in less than 10 minutes. Before we get started, make sure you subscribe to this channel, and if you're on YouTube, click the alert notification. Literally, in less than 10 minutes, I'm going to teach you how to boost your sales by more than 20%. We have a lot of clients at my ad agency, Neil Patel Digital, ton are in the e-commerce space, and I kid you not, using the tactics that I'm going to share with you today, we're typically seeing a 20% or more increase in sales. So let's get started. Why should you sell online? Well, if you're already selling online, I'm really happy for you. COVID has actually boosted these numbers by 3 to 5 years in advance, but roughly 2+ billion people are buying online. That's roughly 25% of the world's population and is rapidly increasing. Just in the United States alone, before COVID, roughly 12% of commerce was happening online. Now that number's just ballooned, and not just in the United States, but worldwide. It's a great place to generate more sales, more income, and best of all, you don't have the overhead and big expenses like these offline businesses. In essence, you want to make sure that you're getting a piece of that. And the key to really succeeding with your online sales is to having a good user experience. Because a good user experience doesn't just mean that people are going to buy from you, but also they're going to keep coming back. Your bounce rates are going to improve, right? That number is going to get lower. Your time on site is going to increase. All of these things also impact your search engine optimization and your rankings on Google, which in turn also increases your sales as well. So what is user journey? Well, 88% of users are less likely to return to a site if the user experience is bad. And what I mean by that is, what if someone comes to your website and they can't find what they're looking for? Or what if they're confused on what to do or where to go to find what they're looking for? Or what if they keep bombarded by so many pop-ups they just want to leave? And it's made down into 3 main components: experience, structure, and functionality. And we're going to go over them in a bit. And of course, I'm going to give you step-by-step actionable tips so you can get that 20+% increase in sales. And as I mentioned, it's also really important for SEO as well, because that's what keeps people engaged. That's what keeps them on your site, generating multiple page views and not just clicking the back button to the Google search results page and then going to another listing. This is how you also indirectly boost your search engine optimization rankings. The customer journey funnel is pretty much understanding your customers. A lot of that happens with keyword research. Then you want to see how they behave on your website. And then, of course, you want to track and improve the experience so that way people keep coming back and they buy from you. You can use tools like Crazy Egg to see all of this, and that'll help you improve the overall experience. But what I'm also going to do is break down the tips I've learned that pretty much work for any website doing commerce online. And having a bad UX is damaging. As HubSpot found out, 80% of people stop doing business with companies because of poor customer experience. Don't be one of those companies. And I'm going to show you the exact tips. Don't worry, there's not too many. They're easy to implement. Like I said, you'll be able to get this done in less than 10 minutes to start growing your e-commerce sales. So first off, make your site with a simple navigation. And here's an example. This is on my blog, and you can do this on any type of sites. But think about it. If you go to the neilpatel.com blog, you can learn about a lot of different things. And a lot of them revolve around marketing, such as SEO, online marketing, conversion optimization, Google Ads, whatever it may be. And I have a simple navigation that gets most of the clicks. Look at the screenshot on the right. What do you think is the most clicked area? If you guess blog or pricing or training, nope, it's not even the first post. It's actually the text, I want to learn more about, and it says everything, and there's a drop down there with many options. That gets clicked more than anything else. As Clutch found out through a survey, 94% of customers say they want an easy to navigate website. And that's what I did. On my website, I made the navigation super clear and easy, and I use a language that everyone can understand. I didn't make things too complex. Here's an example on the right side of what you don't want to do. Your website isn't like a buffet where there should be too many options, because when you go to a buffet, what happens? You're like, I don't know what I want to eat. This sounds good. That sounds good. Well, maybe I'll start with this and then come back later. Then you'll find out that you've ate too much, and then you don't come back later, and then you don't go after all the other things that you wanted as well. So you want to keep things simple, not too messy, because what will happen is If it is messy, people will stop engaging with your content. 38% of people stop engaging with the website if the content or layout is unattractive. So you want to make sure that it is super attractive. You don't have too many links in your navigation, because when you also have too many links, it's not just about user experience. You're passing your SEO juice to too many links, and what you'll find is you're spreading that juice to too many pages that don't matter as much, so your rankings won't be as great in the long run. Another thing that I really love is using filters. So if you don't have filters on your website, I want you to go and add them. When people go to your website, when you're selling a product, they may not know what they're looking for, but they may have a rough idea. So for example, a lot of times when I buy clothes, I know, because I'm a man, I'm looking for men's clothes. I'm not really looking to see women's options. I'm price sensitive. I'm kind of cheap. I know that sounds bad, but it's the reality. So I know what price points I'm willing to pay. I also typically wear the same color schemes like black, blue, white. So I don't really have too many funky colors like the purples, the pinks, the browns. I keep my color scheme quite simple. So filtering allows it where people can just go through thousands of items and narrow them down to 10 or 20, see what they like, and then buy. And there's many different ways to filter. I recommend you check out Nike.com. They have some really cool filter options as well, and customization options. But here's another good example of filters on a mobile device. You can do a quick slider for pricing. That works well. Color schemes, select multiple sizes, pick the categories. That's an easy way to give people what they're looking for really quickly so they can zero in on it and just buy right away. So some tips for you. I recommend you keep your filters short. You don't want to have 100, 200 of them. Sometimes you will have to have more than you want, and that's okay, like shoe sizes, but try to limit them when possible. And make the filters obvious. Don't try to use complex words and numbers that people don't understand. Keep in mind, it really needs to be user-friendly. And I recommend testing and tracking your filters. And you can do this within Google Analytics and track events, because when you're tracking the events to see what filter options are the most important and the most used, you can show those at the top, and the ones that are barely getting used, you can either push them at the bottom or consider removing them. The next tip I have for you, and this is one of my favorite ones, and I've seen actually the biggest impact from this, which is to just use advanced search. And here's what I mean by that. On your website, people will be searching for stuff. You go to Amazon, what do? You search for products. And you go to Google, what do people do? Search for products. The same happens with your website. Now, if you don't have a search, you need to add one. But even if you just add a search, what you'll find is the results always aren't great. Sometimes people type in all these random terms and the results that you show aren't great. And what are you going to do? You're going to go build a complex algorithm like Google? Of course not. So the easy solution that we use at our company is called DoFinder. And what we find is it usually increases sales roughly by 20%. Because not only does it make your search more advanced, it's still really easy and simple to use, but their algorithm is really complex in a good way. The users don't experience anything that's complex, but the algorithm is quite sophisticated and advanced. So in that way, when people are searching, they're seeing the right stuff and what they're looking for. And what they'll do is when people are looking for stuff and they're not buying certain items, they won't show that as much as the items that people want to buy and are purchasing. My favorite feature with DoFinder is they offer something similar to Google Suggests. So anytime you search on Google, it'll give you a list of other terms that are similar. And the same thing happens on YouTube and heck, even Amazon. It's super effective in commerce. And DoFinder will add that to your website. In essence, they'll offer search suggestions based on customers' keywords and what they're typing in multiple times, different users, so they can figure out, all right, here's what you're really looking for when you type in this one word or these two words or three words. And that helps increase sales, because the last thing you want to do, and this is what happens when websites don't have search, is someone's going to have to go to your site and maybe click on then gender, then apparel, then shoes, then the type of shoes, then the type of size. And it just takes forever to find what you're looking for. And if you have search, and ideally advanced search like DoFinder, when someone types in something generic like sneakers, there could be a lot of results. DoFinder will look at what are people buying and clicking on in the past that other people like that are similar, and they'll show them those items first, because it knows that that's what's going to increase your sales and maximize your conversion rate and revenue. So how do advanced search engines help increase conversions? So let's dive in. 30% of visitors will perform an in-site search if there is a search engine box present. And not just on a page, but in an area that is easily findable. And according to Moz, they found that companies' conversion rates nearly doubled from 2.77 to 4.63 for people who use on-site search and found what they were looking for. So the key is not to just add search, the key is to add search that is advanced and provides amazing results. And if you don't, it's like, think about using Google. When you search on Google or even Amazon, if you got crap results, what would happen? It goes to bad user experience. You wouldn't come back again. You wouldn't use Google. They would make less money and Amazon would make less money. Hence, you want to optimize the results as well. If you're not convinced, advanced search has also been shown to increase average ticket size by 5% and average visit time for users by roughly 10%. Again, this indirectly helps increase your SEO because lower bounce rate, which is a factor in rankings, dwell time, things like page views per visitor. And the key is you got to make sure your search results are advanced. You could try to program something and hire a developer and try to do it all manually, or you can just use a tool like DoFinder. The fourth tip I have for you, and this worked really well for one of my companies, and I'll show you an example of this, is to make your checkout process really simple. You would think that when someone's coming to your website, they're going to check out, they're likely to buy. Your checkout process, in most cases, you would think doesn't matter, but it does. 21% of shopping cart abandonment is done so by people because the checkout process was way too complicated, according to a study by Baymard. You want to make your checkout process simple. Just because someone's coming to your website, it doesn't mean they're going to complete the checkout process. Abandoned checkout and abandoned carts cost companies so much money in e-commerce. It's literally billions and billions of dollars. And for that reason, you want your checkout process to be fast, indicate how many steps there are, like step 1, 2, 3, guide them in the right direction, and make it super easy and simple for them. For example, with Crazy Egg, which was one of my old companies, we used to have a one-step checkout process where we would ask all the fields on one page. We changed it to a multiple-step checkout process, and then it ended up becoming 3 steps. Go to a pricing page, you can end up putting in your information to create your account, and then from there you go to the checkout page, and then you end up buying. That little thing, that little change, increased our conversions by roughly 10%. That's huge. Think about that. 10% more revenue by just simplifying and making the checkout process better. It's what we call the hoop theory. When someone does little actions, like gives you their name and email, they're much more likely to complete the rest of the actions. When someone's not even willing to give you a little bit of information, the chances are they're not going to buy. And when you have these long forms that ask for everything right away, it's overwhelming and people don't end up completing it. But when they just put in a name and email, they're like, oh, okay, this was simple. I already gave you my name and email. Oh, next step, not too bad, 6 more steps. Might as well complete it because you already have some of my information. And for the people who don't complete it all, you can end up emailing them and trying to get them to convert that way as well. When you're optimizing your checkout process, I also want you to think about the mobile experience because more people are using mobile devices these days than they are using desktop computers or laptops to browse the web. Think about it. People have their mobile phones on them all the time. You don't have your laptop on you all the time. Heck, your mobile phone's probably next to you in your bed or in your pocket, but your laptop or computer isn't always next to you in bed. So you want to make sure when someone types in their name, the right keyboard shows up and it's with letters. Or when they have to type in their phone number, credit card information, the keyboard with numbers shows up. These little things impact user experience and can affect your conversions. So some key takeaways for you, it's every little thing that adds up. One thing's not going to make or break your business, but if you do all these little things, you can easily get a 20+% lift in revenue. So I recommend doing things like optimize your checkout. Use tools like DoFinder. Don't just have search on your website, but have advanced search because the results are much better. They'll provide the similar feature to Google Search and you'll see your numbers go up. Also limit your navigational options. You're not running a site, that's a buffet that has too many options and people don't know what they want. It's analysis paralysis. You want to limit the options, and that way it also controls your SEO juice that you're driving to your main pages so they all rank better. And of course, leverage filters. That way people don't have to browse thousands of products to find the one that they want to buy. They can just easily find what they're looking for and check out right away. If you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment below. Let me know and I'll answer it. If you enjoyed this video, like it, share it, tell other people about it. I hope that your revenue and sales increase right away. Just take the time to implement one of these things. You can go with the approach of trying to optimize your navigation first, or add filters, or you can take an easy approach and just add do finder to your site. Whatever it may be, just do some of these elements. If you do some of them, you're going to start seeing more sales.